Hello, welcome back. My name is David Hantman, and I'm a real estate agent here in the South Florida market. I'm putting this little series together for YouTube because I want to speak about, because doing real estate, there's buyers, there's sellers, there's people that rent, and there's a lot of questions and it can be very confusing. So I decided to put this together to help answer a lot of questions, because not only myself experience, people freaking out and having a lot of drama and asking a lot of questions about buying or selling their real estate or even renting a condo or a house. There's a lot of questions, and not only myself but other realtors also have the same issue. So today I want to continue. When we last left off, we did a little question and answer session. So again, if you have any questions, I'll either send it to you privately via email, or I'll just read it off here and go ahead and give the comments here. But anyway, my email is underneath here, so go ahead and email me and I'll try to answer all the emails. But today I want to continue about going back to where I left off before, about selling your home, for people who are interested and tuning in right now, talking about selling your home. Just to recap, you want to get a good realtor that knows the area. You don't want to hire a realtor that lives miles away, that doesn't know the area. You want to hire a realtor that knows the area in your neighborhood and knows what's going on close to the highways. They know the places of worship, the supermarkets, the malls, and all that other stuff, the school district. So it's good to get a realtor that really knows the area. So that's very important. So in this day and age, you want to sell your house, and for rightfully so, whatever reason. Again, we touched base on that, and the last time we spoke about it was selling your home by yourself. And then, the reason why to use a realtor. Most likely people, when they come to, today I want to concentrate on what happens when someone comes with a mortgage. The reason why people are now getting more and more mortgages, the lending practices are loosening up a little bit. So, and cash buyers are not really coming around as much. It depends on the area, but there are a lot of cash buyers, but most people right now need the mortgage. So what happens when they have a mortgage? So of course they come with a pre-approval, they want to buy your house, there's a contract and whatnot. What happens is what a lot of people a lot of realtors don't forget, or they forget. When a bank pre-approves somebody and there's a mortgage involved, a bank is just not going to take the agreed contract price. The bank, before they lend out the money to the buyer or the new owner of the house, they're going to do an appraisal. An appraisal is pretty much, realtors are not appraisers, we're not appraisers. The buyer is an appraiser, their agent is an appraiser, we're not appraisers. So we can't appraise the house and tell you how much it's appraised for. We can kind of tell you in the area what the house is worth based on the comps. But what happens is, what we do is the bank hires a third party, which is the appraiser, and then that appraiser, he or she, goes out and appraises the house. They look at the neighborhood, they also look at the comps, they see what sell, they see how many bedrooms, square feet, if you have a swimming pool, the condition of the house, everything. They look at everything in the house, and then what they do is they come up with the appraised value. So when you're selling your house, you don't want to hire a real estate agent that's going to overprice your house. As a seller, I know you have sentimental attachments to the house. There's a lot of memories, and rightfully so, I get it. You're attached to the home, you have very memories. But this is where, as a seller, you need to have a clear mind and not let emotions get in your way. Remember, you're selling your house. So for instance, in the neighborhood, if the homes in the neighborhood are selling for $300,000, it doesn't make sense to price your house at $375,000 or $400,000, because it's going to end up that you're not going to get a buyer. Because I will tell you, buyers are smart. Buyers are not dumb. Now, with the age of the internet, anybody can go on the internet and do research. If they like that certain area or that neighborhood where your house is being sold, they're going to go ahead and they're going to do their research. And rightfully so. They're buying a major purchase. So what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and they're going to check out and they're going to look on the internet. Now, The prices, realtors, we don't just make up the prices off the top of our head. What we do is we look and see what sold in the past. So for instance, in the past 6 months to a year, or 3 to 6 months or 9 months, what we do is we go back and we see what's sold. That's how you determine the price of your home, is what's unsold. Now, that any realtor can come in and list your house. A monkey with a suit can come in and list your house and put it on the MLS. That's the easy part. It's selling your house is where it separates a good realtor from a bad realtor, or an experienced realtor, I should say. Listing your house, putting it up on the MLS, and just hoping that somebody comes along and buys your house, anybody can do that. It's what helps sell the house, and what makes an experienced realtor is they price the house accordingly to what the neighborhood is selling. So what happens is, if you have a realtor that is going to overprice your house 50, 75, 100,000, that realtor is not right for you. If you're going to be, and I hate to say this word, greedy about it, and you're going to be very firm that you want a lot of money for your house because you did fixtures and you upgraded the bathrooms and the kitchen and all that stuff, again, everybody upgraded their house. So you're not the oddball out of it. It's not like you did something extraordinary to your house, because again, buyers are going to do the research and they're going to find a house that's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, same like yours, with the upgrades with the kitchen, that's priced right. So what happens is, sellers, again, that's where your emotions, you have to put your emotions on hold and really come back down to reality and think, okay, I want to sell my house, or I need to sell my house, whatever the case may be, and go with that realtor that gives you the right numbers. If you're going to bulldoze the realtor, intimidate them, or you're going to get a realtor that starts blurting off that they're the best and they've sold multi-million-dollar properties and they're a top seller, those are realtors you really want to stay away from, because a lot of those guys and girls, a lot of those females and males that brag and they go all on a tangent, what happens is, those are the realtors that sometimes what they do is they overvalue your house. So again, what happens when you overvalue your house? Well, it's not going to sell. It's going to lay on the market. If someone comes with a mortgage, the bank is going to do an appraisal, and then you get the realistic amount. So let's say if you price your house at $375, someone's pre-approved, they like your house, they get a mortgage, the bank does the appraisal person comes out, appraises the house, and instead of, you negotiate it down to $375, and then your house is really worth $295 or $310, you have to prepare yourself to either go down in price. Most likely, buyers are not going to pay the difference, because you're going to get a real estate agent who will be like, oh yeah, no problem about the appraisal. If the buyer really wants it, they'll pay the difference. Yes and no. The cutting off point is about $5,000. If let's say the house is appraised at $200,000, but you negotiated, let's say $205, and I'm just using these numbers loosely, there's not a big difference. You can either you can negotiate that $5,000, because if the buyer really likes the house, they'll come up with the $5,000. But once you start reaching $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, even higher, the buyer's going to back out. So that's why it's important to get your house valued to sell at a proper price, because a lot of realtors forget that if it's somebody with a mortgage, and most likely they're going to come with a mortgage, the house is going to be appraised. Once the appraisal comes in, the art of negotiation and going back and forth is really thrown out the window, in my opinion, because the bank dictates, or the mortgage company dictates with the appraisal how much the house is really going to sell for. So it doesn't really, to go back and forth and try to get the most you can, it's not going to be ideal when someone comes in with a mortgage, and most likely somebody is going to come with a mortgage. Now, as a seller, you can sit and wait and wait and wait and wait for that person to come in for cash. But again, to wait for a cash buyer, because cash buyers usually don't do an appraisal. A cash buyer, it's going to be waiting. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. You're going to be there for a long time. The house is not going to move. And in turn, what's going to happen is, because the house is overpriced, there's no cash buyer, what you're going to do is you're going to take out your frustration and your anger on the realtor. And then your relationship between you and the realtor is going to go south, it's going to go sour, And then you're not going to appraise that realtor, and the realtor is not going to like you as their client. So something's going to happen. You're going to get pissed off, you're going to cancel the contract, and you're going to badmouth that realtor. And that's why sometimes realtors get a bad name, because they didn't price your house right. As a realtor, for me, if my client wants to overprice their house, I'm a type of realtor I would back out, because if I don't feel comfortable, selling that house at a proper price, at a reasonable price, then I'm not the realtor for that person. And a lot of realtors don't realize that. They want to get the listing, they want to get that sale, and they'll figure they'll bring the price down, and they'll try to help, they'll start out high, they'll get the listing, and you're already in a contract, and then what they'll do is they'll try to convince you to lower the price and all that stuff. It's a game. And again, if the realtor did their job and priced the house or the condo or the townhome correctly, you won't have to go through that drama of dropping price. Because what's the point of getting your house listed at $450 when all of a sudden you're going to end up dropping the price to $425 or $410? And then someone's going to come along and the appraisal is going to be $400 to $410 or $5,000. So again, it's one of those things. The listing agent has to know what they're doing, and they have to be confident with the numbers. And as you, the sellers, you have to be comfortable with that agent when they tell you the numbers. Don't get greedy. A lot of sellers, what they do is they bought their house years ago, and let's say you bought it for $100,000, and now the homes in your neighborhood are selling for $350,000, $400,000. Don't be greedy. It's like, instead of getting the most money and going through that drama, save yourself a lot of drama, save yourself a lot of stress, and price out according to the comps. Because if you bought the house for very low, or $100,000, you may put in $50,000, $60,000 into it down the line, and you're going to end up selling it for $300,000. Take the money and run. So, with that, I'll conclude it with that. Next week, what I'll do is we're going to do some more questions and answers next week, and then we're going to talk about rentals, or we'll talk about rentals or people that are looking for renting. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to questions and answers or whatever comes in. So if you have any questions or anything, please email me. The email is down here below. And again, thank you for visiting, and check me out on YouTube. Again, my name is David Hantman, and I'm a real estate agent here in South Florida. Thank you.